Right. Well, Kim Porter, that is Diddy's ex, who's also the mother of his 3 of his children.
Right.
Has detailed the alleged abuse that she suffered at his hands.
Oh, no.
And this is all in a memoir.
In her civil lawsuit, Cassie said that she was the victim of abuse, assault, and at the hands of Diddy.
When it comes to the tangled web of celebrity scandals, few stories have captivated the public quite like the explosive saga surrounding Sean Diddy Combs. This isn't just another case of a star falling from grace. This is a deep dive into a world of power, control, and shocking allegations that threaten to rip the veil off decades of carefully guarded secrets. For years, the whispers of Diddy's alleged misconduct have swirled around the entertainment industry, but now, with his trial looming and a firestorm of accusations coming to light, it seems the reckoning has finally arrived. This isn't just about one man, it's about the empire he built and the lives it may have destroyed along the way.
At the end of the day, just to tell the truth, so hopefully we can get down to the bottom of this. I'm 100%, the charges against me are 100% false, and hopefully due to time, we'll start to see that.
At the center of this unfolding drama is Al B. Sure, a once celebrated New Jack Swing artist who has returned to the public eye with claims that could shake the industry to its core. After surviving a harrowing battle with multi-organ failure, a coma, and a liver transplant, Al has emerged not just as a survivor, but as a man determined to tell the truth. His upcoming memoir, Do You Believe Me Now?, promises to expose the darker side of the music business, and at the heart of this expose lies his connection to Diddy and, more hauntingly, to Kim Porter. Kim Porter's name has become a rallying cry in the narrative against Diddy, not just because of her tragic passing, but because of what her life and demise may reveal about the man who once called her his soulmate. Kim and Diddy's relationship spanned over a decade, producing 3 children and countless headlines. But according to Al B. Sure, who shares a son Quincy with Kim, the story behind their glamorous facade is anything but romantic. Al has alleged that Kim confided in him about fears for her safety, fears that were tied directly to Diddy. She was, he claims, working on a tell-all memoir that would have laid bare years of abuse, manipulation, and industry secrets, details so damning that some believe her demise was no coincidence.
Bruh, when y'all look at this thing and saying force, y'all think this that he probably threatened to beat her, threatened to do something like that. That ain't what force is. It could come from the mentality. Yo, he put her in a certain position, in a certain situation, in a certain time in her life.
Officially, Kim's passing in 2018 was ruled as complications from pneumonia. But Al, along with other insiders, has never accepted this explanation. In fact, he's gone as far as to demand a reinvestigation into her demise, pointing to what he describes as glaring inconsistencies. For starters, Kim's phone, laptop, and other personal devices reportedly vanished shortly after her demise, devices that Al claims contained crucial evidence, including her unfinished manuscript. He has even alleged that Kim warned him something might happen to her and that she feared powerful forces were working against her. To add fuel to the fire, sources close to Kim have described her as being in good health in the days leading up to her passing, celebrating family milestones and showing no signs of the illness that supposedly claimed her life.
Because Kim had took the cork, where you open up wine, the corkscrew. She took the corkscrew and caught him on his wrist defending himself. And he almost, I know he tore some ligament, but he almost hit an artery or came close to the artery or either scratched it or cut it a little bit because he just kept bleeding.
Then there's the matter of the memoir itself, titled Kim's Lost Words, A Journey for Justice, which briefly appeared on Amazon before being swiftly taken down, reportedly at the request of Diddy's children. The book, which purportedly stemmed from notes and recordings Kim had shared with a producer before her demise, allegedly detailed a pattern of control and abuse. Diddy's legal team has dismissed the book as fake, but its fleeting availability and the effort to suppress it has only added to the intrigue. What was in those pages that someone didn't want the world to see? And why is there such a concerted effort to discredit it?
You know, he get the trafficking because he took her to different states and had her perform acts with different, male and different people, sometimes against her will.
Al B. Sure isn't the only one raising questions. Gene Deal, Diddy's former bodyguard, has also stepped into the spotlight with his own damning revelations. Gene has described incidents of violence and manipulation during Diddy's relationship with Kim, including an alleged altercation so severe that Kim is said to have fought back with a corkscrew, leaving Diddy with a permanent scar on his wrist. These claims, if true, paint a harrowing picture of a relationship marred by control and fear. Gene has also accused Diddy of employing extreme measures to monitor and control those around him, from wiretapping phones to using intimidation tactics to silence dissent.
But that's Kim's story. That's Kim's book. That's Kim's book. Then you hear about the fact that he broke Kim's nose on a yacht?
Wow, I ain't hear about that.
And then there's Courtney Burgess, a former associate who claims to hold the smoking gun, a series of flash drives allegedly handed to him by Kim Porter herself. These drives reportedly contained video footage of Diddy and other high-profile figures engaging in activities that, if made public, could shatter careers and reputations. Burgess has testified before a grand jury describing the tapes in chilling detail, allegedly showing scenes of exploitation and coercion involving A-list celebrities, some of whom were reportedly underage at the time. While the contents of these tapes have yet to be revealed in court, Burgess's testimony has sent shockwaves through the industry, prompting questions about how deep this scandal really goes.
She saw no way out other than doing what he told her to do. He had mentally controlled her. It's like a pimp. Diddy had pimp potential. He had her mind messed up where it controlled her.
Diddy's legal troubles don't stop there. His former girlfriend Cassie recently filed a lawsuit alleging years of mistreatment, including physical and emotional abuse. Although the lawsuit was settled within 24 hours, the allegations it contained have cast a long shadow. Cassie's claims of being coerced into degrading acts and manipulated under the guise of love echo the narratives coming from others who were once close to Diddy. These stories, combined with the mounting legal cases against him, suggest a pattern of behavior that goes far beyond isolated incidents. Even more chilling are the parallels between Kim Porter's story and those of other women who have come forward. In a resurfaced interview, Diddy's former protege, rapper Mark Curry, alleged that Diddy had a history of abusive behavior, not just towards Kim, but also towards other women in his life. Curry claimed that Diddy went so far as to wiretap Kim's phone and monitor her conversations, actions that speak to a level of control that goes beyond the personal and into the realm of calculated manipulation. Curry's allegations, combined with the stories from Al Bashir, Gene Deal, and others, paint a picture of a man who used his power not just to build an empire, but to control and silence those around him.
It was all, insecurities. Anytime a man would go out his way to wiretap someone's phone or put taps in their homes just to monitor their conversation, that's a sign of insanity. So when you see someone doing that, you can imagine.
Meanwhile, the questions surrounding Kim Porter's demise refuse to go away. Al Bashir has called for a full investigation, citing what he describes as a pattern of mysterious circumstances surrounding her passing. He's not alone in his suspicions. Fans and industry insiders alike have pointed to the disappearance of Kim's devices as a glaring red flag. One source close to the case has even suggested that the missing devices could contain evidence that not only supports Kim's claims, but also ties them to the broader allegations against Diddy. If true, this could be the key to unraveling a decades-long web of secrecy and control.
This investigation is ongoing, and I encourage anyone with information about this case to come forward and to do it quickly.
For Diddy, the stakes couldn't be higher. The charges against him, which include racketeering and exploitation, could result in a life sentence if he's convicted. But for those who have come forward, Al Bashir, Gene Deal, Courtney Burgess, and others, this moment represents something far more significant, a chance to finally expose the truth. They're not just fighting for justice, they're fighting to bring down an entire system that has allowed powerful men like Diddy to operate with impunity for far too long. As the trial approaches, the world is watching. The allegations are damning, the evidence is mounting, and the voices of those who were once silenced are growing louder. But with so many questions still unanswered and so many powerful forces at play, one can't help but wonder, how deep does this go? And who else might be caught in the fallout? The answers, it seems, are just beginning to surface.
A US judge has ruled that the rapper and producer Sean Diddy Combs will stand trial on federal trafficking and racketeering charges in May. He'll be held in prison until then. Sean Combs has pleaded not guilty to charges that he used his business empire to transport women and male workers across state lines to take part in recorded performances. If convicted, he could face a life sentence.
And yet, for all the noise surrounding the allegations and the lawsuits, there's an even darker layer to this story, one that feels almost too twisted to believe. Behind the public persona of wealth, success, and relentless ambition, whispers of Diddy's alleged methods of control and intimidation have painted a chilling portrait of a man willing to go to unimaginable lengths to protect his empire. Former insiders have come forward with unsettling accounts that make one thing clear: this isn't just about money or power. This is about fear, manipulation, and silence.
Hey, real quickly, all that commissary stuff, he's not getting any of that because people in the shoe have an abbreviated list. So he's out of luck. No stake for him. Yeah, he is on watch. This guy thought he would have went home. All of a sudden, he didn't get bond. Remember, the first night that he was there.
Let's dive into one of the most explosive claims tied to this saga, the alleged surveillance culture Diddy maintained over those closest to him. Multiple sources have alleged that he used tools of espionage, yes, espionage, to keep tabs on partners, associates, and even rivals. We're not talking about casual snooping here. According to former employees, Diddy had entire systems in place to monitor private conversations, track movements, and keep a tight grip on anyone who might step out of line. One particularly disturbing report suggested that hidden recording devices were installed in his homes, capturing not just business dealings, but deeply personal interactions. The purpose? To gather leverage, ensuring that no one could challenge his authority or expose his secrets without risking everything. This alleged obsession with control extended to the women in his life, with insiders claiming that Diddy's relationships were less about love and more about dominance. One former confidant described a pattern of psychological manipulation, where affection was doled out one moment and cruelly withheld the next. Gifts and lavish gestures were reportedly used as tools of compliance, creating a cycle of dependency that left partners feeling trapped. But the most damning allegations come from those who say they witnessed firsthand how dissent was punished. One source recounted an incident where a close partner dared to confront Diddy about his behavior, only to find herself ostracized, cut off from mutual friends, and threatened with career-ending rumors.
Some people do think that Diddy can help him, but this guy's going to be locked up forever. His case will probably take at least 3 years to litigate. He'll stay at MDC. There's rumors that he wants to go to Essex County Jail in New Jersey because he doesn't like MDC. He's a Marshals inmate. There's no way they're going to transfer him back and forth, I don't know, several times a week.
And then there are the rumors surrounding his infamous parties, events that have become legendary in the entertainment world for all the wrong reasons. These weren't just gatherings of the rich and famous. According to multiple accounts, they were highly orchestrated affairs designed to blur boundaries and test loyalties. Guests were reportedly encouraged, some say coerced, into participating in activities that left them vulnerable to blackmail. Several attendees have claimed that cameras were strategically placed throughout the venues, capturing footage that could later be used as leverage. If these claims are true, it raises serious questions about how far Diddy was willing to go to maintain control over those in his orbit. The parties, once seen as glamorous showcases of celebrity excess, now take on a far more sinister tone.
Now, to the latest on the arrest of Sean Diddy Combs. This one has so many people talking. The disgraced music mogul facing federal racketeering, conspiracy, and trafficking charges. Both the prosecution and defense teams are set to discuss the next phase of action following the indictment, as investigators work to determine potential co-conspirators. But how exactly did we get here?
But the fallout from these parties didn't just end with a few disgruntled guests. Over the years, several individuals have come forward with allegations that these gatherings were more than just chaotic hedonism. They were carefully curated traps. One former associate, who requested anonymity, described being lured to one such event under the guise of networking, only to find themselves surrounded by people they didn't know and substances they didn't trust. They recalled feeling pressured to stay, unsure of what might happen if they left early. Later, they discovered that intimate moments from the night had been captured without their knowledge. It was like being thrown into a lion's den, and you didn't even realize you were the prey, they said. This person claimed They were approached weeks later by someone close to Diddy offering a friendly reminder to keep their experience private.
Those individuals allegedly included high-ranking supervisors in the business, personal assistants, security staff, and household staff.
And then there's the case of Joy Dickerson Neil, who filed a lawsuit last year recounting a harrowing experience from decades ago. She alleged that as a college student in the early 90s, she was assaulted after meeting Diddy at a social event. Joy's claims include being taken to an unfamiliar location where she was left vulnerable and unable to defend herself. More disturbingly, she later learned that the incident had been filmed and shown to others without her consent. While the lawsuit remains ongoing, Joy's account has emboldened others to come forward, with some saying her story mirrors their own experiences. The allegations suggest a pattern of targeting individuals who are young, trusting, and unaware of the hidden dangers lurking behind the allure of fame.
This is very significant, just from who we associate Diddy being and everything we've seen him do over the decades. Like you said, this is quite the downfall to go from, we saw the mansions back in March that were raided by the feds. So to go from living in those mansions to being in a jail cell right now, I think it really underscores the magnitude of what he's facing and the weight of the federal government.
And let's not forget the chilling testimony of Brendan Paul, a former employee who was arrested during a raid on one of Diddy's properties earlier this year. Paul's involvement in the case took a dramatic turn when he revealed that he had been tasked with transporting suspicious packages and items for Diddy during his employment. Though Paul initially downplayed his knowledge of their contents, investigators later uncovered evidence suggesting these items were linked to the orchestrated environments described by other witnesses. Paul's admission raises serious questions about the extent to which employees were coerced into participating in or enabling Diddy's alleged schemes, and whether they too were victims of a system designed to shield its mastermind from scrutiny. But perhaps the most unsettling aspect of this story is the long list of people who have allegedly been silenced along the way. Former employees, collaborators, and even friends have described a culture of fear that permeated Diddy's inner circle. Non-disclosure agreements were reportedly standard practice, and those who signed them were often reminded of the consequences of breaking their silence. One former staffer claimed that even casual remarks about Diddy's personal life were met with swift and severe consequences. Another alleged that they were followed by private investigators after leaving their position, a tactic designed to intimidate and dissuade them from speaking out.
It's a question of that, but when you read through the indictment, it's pretty clear who could be indicted as a co-conspirator. Right now, there are people in the indictment who would be considered unnamed co-conspirators, but clearly have played a role in this conspiracy. And I think prosecutors have some big leverage on them because they're hoping that they testify against Diddy as prosecution witnesses.
The legal cases piling up against Diddy only add fuel to the fire. While the charges currently center around exploitation and racketeering, the testimonies coming to light suggest a broader pattern of behavior that spans decades. Lawyers representing some of the victims have hinted that more evidence is on the way, including documentation and recordings that could corroborate their claims. One attorney described the case as just the tip of the iceberg, suggesting that the full extent of Diddy's alleged misconduct has yet to be revealed.
But there's also strategic reasons for the prosecutors to want him to have co-defendants, because right now he hasn't waived his right to a speedy trial, which would force prosecutors to take up the trial pretty quick, which they actually might not be ready to do. But if they supersede him and have co-defendants with him, it makes it a lot easier to pursue a trial continuance without him waiving his speedy trial right.
And it's not just the victims and their legal teams who are speaking out. Former collaborators from Diddy's Bad Boy Records era have started to break their silence as well, sharing stories that paint a troubling picture of life under his leadership. One producer described the environment as toxic, claiming that Diddy fostered a culture of competition and paranoia among his artists. Another recounted being pressured into signing unfavorable contracts under the threat of being blacklisted from the industry. These accounts, while anecdotal, echo the broader allegations of manipulation and control that have come to define the case against Diddy. Even within his own family, cracks are beginning to show. While some of Diddy's children have publicly supported their father, others have remained noticeably silent. Sources close to the family have suggested that the allegations have caused tension behind the scenes, with some members reportedly questioning how much they really knew about their father's private life. This internal conflict only adds to the complexity of the situation as those closest to Diddy grapple with the implications of the charges against him.
He broke Kim, let's say allegedly, but it was told by people in her camp that he broke Kim's nose on a yacht. So Cassie's story is Kim's story. Cassie's book is Kim's book.
As the trial date approaches, the stakes continue to escalate. Prosecutors are reportedly building a case that goes far beyond the initial allegations, piecing together a narrative of systemic exploitation that could have far-reaching consequences for the entertainment industry as a whole. If even a fraction of the claims against Diddy are proven true, it could trigger a reckoning that shakes the foundations of Hollywood and hip-hop alike. But for now, the question remains, how much more is there to uncover, and who else might be implicated in the process? So, what do you think? Are we witnessing the unraveling of one of the most powerful figures in modern entertainment? Or is this just another example of the media piling on a celebrity at their lowest point? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to stick around, because this story is far from over. We'll see you in the next one.